Hello again, and welcome back to Through a Geordie Lens. And as you know, this channel covers travel, history and culture, and today we're going to cover a history of a person rather than a place, of somebody who you probably have never heard of. If you want to find out more, let's begin. The person we're talking about is Norman Carter Slaughter. You're probably thinking, who? He's largely forgotten about today. He was born on the 19th of March 1885 in Gosforth, Newcastle. He went to the Royal Grammar School in Newcastle, and he is the oldest surviving son of 12 children. He became a British actor and theatrical manager, and was become known as the king of the Victorian horror drama, and best known for playing over-the-top maniac roles in film adaptations of Victorian melodramas. And he made his way onto the stage in 1905 at West Hartlepool. In 1913 he became a licensee of the Hippodrome theatres in Richmond and Croydon areas of London. He served in the Royal Flying Corps during World War I before returning to the stage. During his early career, he was named N. Carter Slaughter and was primarily played the conventional lead man and character roles. After the war, he ran the Theatre Royal in Chatham before taking over the Elephant and Castle Theatre in London for a memorable few years from 1924 onwards. His company revived Victorian blood and thunder melodramas such as Maria Martin, Sweeney Todd, Jack Shepherd and The Silver King to enthusiastic audiences, not just locals but sophisticated theatregoers from the West End who initially came for a cheap night but ended up enthralled by the power of the fare on offer. Slaughter also staged other productions such as Christmas pantomimes, where he'd get well-known celebrities to take bit parts for the audience recognition. Despite local protests, the Elephant and Castle closed in 1927 and Slaughter's company vacated it several months earlier. In 1925 he adopted the stage name Todd Slaughter, but his primary roles stayed the same, main characters. He played young heroes in The Face at the Window, the preacher Tom Robinson in Never Too Late to Mend, and the village idiot Tom Winterbottom in Maria Martin. He also played the title characters in The Return of Sherlock Holmes and D'Artagnan in The Three Musketeers. It is said he was briefly retired from acting in the 1930s to start as a chicken farmer, but his venture was short-lived and he soon returned back to managing his company, touring provisions outlaying London theatres with the repertoire of Victorian melodrama. In 1931 at the New Theatre London he played Long John Silver in Treasure Island during the day and body snatcher William Hare in The Crimes of Burke and Hare at night. He also played Sweeney Todd in Sweeney Todd the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And in 1934, at the age of 49, he began in films, usually cast as a villain. His first film was Maria Martin, or The Murder in the Red Barn in 1935. A Victorian melodrama filmed cheaply with Slaughter as the obvious evildoer and identified as such. At the beginning of the play, the old melodramatic style, each main member of the cast was introduced before the play began and had his role explained. When Slaughter comes on, his favour the audience with a cold, evil grin as an onstage announcer says, "Squire Corder, the lord of the manor and a villain, whose blood may be blue, but whose heart is as black as the night." This set the general tone for the film series, although the introduction format was not used again. Slaughter's next role was Sweeney Todd again, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street in 1936, directed and produced by George King. The Crimes of Steve Hawkins, 36, It's Never Too Late to Mend in 37, The Ticket of the Leave Man in 1938, The Face at the Window in 1939, and The Crimes at the Dark House in 1940. Most of these films were quarter quickies. Films made quickly and cheaply to fulfill government requirements that a certain portion of all films distributed by British studios had to be British made. Many such were forgettable, low-quality films. There were, however, some non-melodramatic roles in his career. He was a important player in The Song of the Road in 1937 and Darby and Joan also in 1937. In Sexton Blake and The Hooded Terror in 1938, he played the head of an international gang of supervillains. Slaughter was busy on stage during World War II, performing Jack the Ripper, Landro, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There were also one-act sketches such as The Tooth of the Child. After the war, Slaughter resumed melodramatic roles on screen and starred in The Curse of the Wanderings in 1946, in which Bruce Seton played the legendary Victorian bogeyman Spring-Heeled Jack, and The Greed of William Hart in 1948, based on the murderous career of Burke and Hart. They were produced by Ambassador Films at Bushy Studios, who had made a healthy profit re-releasing Todd's 1930 films during the war years. During the early 1950s, Slaughter appeared as a villain in two crime films, The King of the Underworld in 1952 and The Murder at Scotland Yard in 1953, which was adapted from a 7-part television series, Inspector Morley, Late of Scotland Yard, starring Patrick Barr, Dorothy Bramall and Tucker Maguire. He also regularly toured the provinces and London suburbs. However, the public's appetite for melodrama seemed to have abated somewhat by this stage, and he was declared bankrupt in 1953 owing to the downturn in his touring income. He continued to act in the stage productions such as Muller the Gay Invalid opposite future horror star Peter Cushing, and acting as an MC at an evening of old-fashioned music hall entertainment. His last two films were 3 episodes of the television series Inspector Morley, cobbled together for theatrical release. A version of Spring-Heeled Jack starring Slaughter was one of the first live TV mounted by the BBC after the war. He continued performing on stage even at the end of his life. He died on the 19th of February 1956 at the age of 70 after appearing in an evening's production of Maria Martin at the Derby Hippodrome. He was found the following morning dead of a heart attack at his lodgings nearby, having given his last full-blooded performance. I hope you like this video. I know it's a lot different than what I have been putting up previously, but I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure researching it and doing it. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next lot of videos. Thanks for watching.